The Girl Who Would Be Free by Ryan Holiday, as read by Papa Jeff. Oh, look, there's a map. Huh. Wonder if you've ever been to any of those places yet. What is the fruit of these teachings? Only the most beautiful and proper harvest of the truly educated, tranquility, fearlessness, and freedom. Epictetus. You might think that everyone has it as good as you, but Epictetus didn't. She was born a slave, and most of Rome's slaves were miserable. They did hard jobs. They fought in the Colosseum. They served the rich, while the rich took advantage. Yet somehow, Epictetus's father was always cheerful. Who has it better than us? He liked to ask. Everyone, she would reply. We have our health, we have each other, he'd say with a smile. I love life and all it brings me. Simple as that. When her father was like this, Epictetus would just shake her head and get back to work. To be a slave in Rome was to work for free all the time. It was not an easy life, and sometimes it would get the best of Epictetus. We didn't choose this, her father would remind her, but we can choose not to add to our troubles by complaining about them. Still, Epictetus would sneak off when no one was looking. How you do anything is how you do everything, her father would say. And if you do it well, it can be beautiful, no matter what it is. One day, she and her father were sent to dig a sewage canal. She was disgusted. He jumped right in. This is humiliating, she complained. Oh, do I embarrass you, her father said, by doing my job? No one has the power to degrade us, only themselves by being unfair and unkind. Still, most slaves kept opinions like this to themselves. A snail that stands up gets hammered down, they used to say. Epictetus's father refused. What makes a garment beautiful, he said. The colorful threads that stand out. You are too special to let yourself blend in. In time, their work was noticed, and Epictetus and her father were brought to work in the palace. There she saw that the good life wasn't always better. She saw their parties. She saw what they said about each other. She saw lying, cheating, and bribing. They worked so hard to make more money, to be more famous, her father said. What if they just tried to be better people? Me, he said, I delight in improving myself and you. The emperor was vain, and his sycophants were pathetic. For all their wealth, they didn't seem to have much. I'm down to my last million, she heard a man exclaim. My God, the emperor marveled, how can you bear it? Enough is never enough for those to whom enough is too little, her father said. There are plenty of free people in prisons of their own making, slaves to habits and bad decisions. You might think that this is all playing with words, which it is, but the words we use matter. Epictetus's father never let his daughter describe herself as poor or unlucky. He never let her say things were terrible or unfair. Life just is, he explained. It's our opinion about it that makes it hard. The best lessons aren't spoken. Epictetus's father rarely talked about his beliefs. He just lived them. He never complained about the weather. He never cared about what other people thought. He never resented their situation. Instead, he put his energy towards things that were up to him. And every night, he reviewed the day to see what he could have done better. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, he prayed. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You could imagine that there was a lot they couldn't change. I wish I was free, Epictetus said sadly. Of course you do, her father told her, and one day you will be. If someone gave me a sword, I'd free myself right now, she declared. I'm sure you would, little Spartacus, he said. But as she showed her father how she would fight, she slipped and fell, hurting her leg very badly. Her recovery was slow and painful. In the end, she had a limp. I am disabled, she cried. Did you injure your mind? Her father asked. No, she replied. Was your soul hurt? He asked. I guess not, she stammered. Was your sense of right and wrong affected? No, but... Well, then you are perfectly able, he said. I think you need to focus more on who controls the empire between your ears and less on what happened to your leg. And with that, he sent his daughter to her first philosophy class. She worried, would she fit in? Would they judge her for her gender, for her limp, for being a slave? On the first day, a rich boy did exactly that. Girls can't study philosophy, he said with a sneer. You're right, came the voice of Musonius Rufus, her new teacher. Some of us are not worthy of studying philosophy. Then he kicked the boy out of the class. Doesn't matter who you are, or where you come from, or what you come from, Musonius said. What matters is if you're dedicated to excellence. Musonius wouldn't let her hold a grudge. Remember, we are complicit when we take offense. No one can make us feel inferior without our help, he said. Something is only harmful if you allow it to hurt your character. Musonius was not an easy teacher. He demanded silence. He did not accept mistakes. Most of all, he did not tolerate ego. It's impossible to learn what you think you already know, he would tell them often. To a student who protested that he'd read more books than anyone in the class, Musonius said that it wasn't that we read, but what we read and how we read. He loved to talk about ideas he disagreed with and encouraged students to point out when they thought he was wrong. He quoted from rival philosophers too. I'll cite a bad author if the line is good, he said. Never be satisfied just getting the gist of something, he told them. You must linger on your studies and let it soak in. And the way to prove you've really learned something is by putting your own spin on it. In Epictetus, Musonius saw potential. How much longer are you going to wait to demand the best for yourself? He asked her as she sat quietly in the back. I am a slave, she would reply. I don't matter. A person's worth is no greater than their ambition, he said. Expect nothing and you'll be nothing. How can I possibly be something, she said. Look at my life. Look at my leg. Look at where I come from. You're right, he said. From birth, you've had to wrestle with fortune each and every day, and she is a strong sparring partner. but that is why you have an advantage over other students. Epictetus was confused. She didn't feel like she had any advantage. Every situation has two handles, Musonius explained. We can grab the one that empowers us or the one that doesn't. We can see the obstacle or the opportunity. You might like to hear that everything went wonderfully for Epictetus after that. But fortune, as always, had surprises in store. Their house was robbed. Her father got sick. Life is very short, her father told her with his final words. To take it or other people for granted, to wish things had been different, is to waste your life. Amor fati, my dear, amor fati. The next day, Epictetus learned she and Musonius had been exiled for daring to study philosophy, for standing out. Very well, Musonius said with a shrug. Then we'll have a nice lunch on the road. A tyrant can change where we live, Musonius said, but they can't stop us from acting with courage, temperance, justice, or wisdom. You know, Epictetus said, when you put it like that, I'm not sure they have any power over us at all. Away from Rome, Epictetus founded her own school, adding to Musonius's teaching, her father's lessons, and her own discoveries from the school of life. Far and wide, students came. Her fame grew, her influence spread. One day, a message arrived from the new emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He had been told of Epictetus from his own teacher, Rusticus. I hereby grant you your freedom, it read. Epictetus smiled and laughed. I was free the moment I chose to be. It is half of Rome who is in chains. I love my life and all I've been through. Nobody has it better than me, she said to the king. Not even you. You might not believe it, but it's true. Whether you were born to a high or a low place, whether you're strong or weak, young or old, the freedom you seek is inside you. It rests between your ears, in the words you use, in the decisions you make, in the handle you grab. You are free if you choose to be. You can always find something to be happy about. Amor fati. It's as simple as that. The end. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this reading of The Girl Who Would Be Free by Ryan Holiday.